Hi, I'm David and this is Humble Keyboards. This video is the third in a series on identifying the chords found in the Harmonic Overtone series and how to play them at the keyboard. We've looked at 2-note power chords and 3-note triads, and this video is about 4- and 5-note extended chords. I want to begin by emphasizing that more notes is not necessarily better. Power chords are often just the right thing to play because of their simplicity and strength, and because they rarely clash with vocal or instrumental melodies. And the ambiguity of an unstated third can be very musically useful. The chord is neither major nor minor. In the previous video, we explored the Harmonic Overtone series as far as the 6th partial, which gave us 3 occurrences of the root note at different octaves, 2 octaves of the note, an interval of a fifth above the root, and a single major third at the 5th partial. The 7th partial is the next new note in the series. Like the notes at the 3rd and 5th partials, it's not quite the same pitch as any key on a standard equal-tempered keyboard, but as before, we'll map it to the closest note we have and use the resulting chord musically. I don't have big enough hands to play all of those notes at once, so I'm going to let the bass play this fundamental root note. If we follow the overtone series from a root note of A, E, A, C sharp, E, we get a 7th partial that is a bit flatter than this G. Counting scale degrees from the preceding octave of the root, this A, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a convenient coincidence that the 7th partial corresponds to the 7th scale degree. It's because of the count of scale degrees that we call this interval from A to G a 7th, and the major chord that contains it a 7th chord. Strictly speaking, this is the interval of a minor 7th, and some people call this chord a major minor 7th, because the 3rd is major, but the 7th is minor. But most of the time we just call this A7. If you're interpreting a chord chart or lyric sheet that calls for a something 7 chord, this is the set of notes that you want, a major triad with an added minor 7th. Remember that it's 4 semitones from the root to the interval of a major 3rd, and 7 semitones to the interval of a 5th. The interval of a 7th is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 semitones above the root. It's easier sometimes to see it as 2 semitones below the octave of the root instead. For example, from this root, this is a C major chord, voiced following the harmonic series, and this is a C7 chord. C, C, G, C, E, G, and B flat. I like to add the 6th partial to the major chord to avoid this major third standing out at the top of the chord. And I also sometimes like to add the 8th partial, which is another octave of the fundamental, to this 7th chord. The note at an interval of a 7th above the root is 2 semitones below the octave here. The 9th partial of the overtone series is about the last new note that we can reasonably claim is close enough to a note on the keyboard. Using a root note of this A, the 11th partial is almost exactly between these 2 notes, and we just can't play it on the keyboard. But the 9th partial is quite close to the note a whole tone above the 8th partial, B from a root of A. We can add that note to a 7 chord to get a 9 chord. This is an A9 chord voiced following the Harmonic Overtone series, again dropping the bass note that I can't reach. Here are 2 examples. From a root of D, we get D, the 5th at A, D, the major 3rd at F sharp, A, and the minor 7th at C. This is a D7 chord, and we can add the 8th partial here at D. If we add the 9th at E, this is a D9 chord. We can omit the duplicated notes and play a D7 like this and a D9 like this. From B flat, we get B flat, F, B flat, D, F, A flat, B flat, and C. These are the notes of B flat 7, and this is B flat 9. You can arrange these same notes differently and still get a B flat 9 chord, just in a different voicing. In the next video, we'll talk about scales and where they come from. I've been referring to scale degrees in naming the intervals between notes, and it's definitely time to clarify what I'm talking about. Thanks for watching. Please like and share this video, and subscribe to see more.